don't know why I decided to open like a pirate today. But it be 9:20 in the a.m. on Tuesday, December 18th, 2018. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I've just gotten up. This is 5 more minutes. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Oh, you know what it's maybe about? I have been getting close to the end of listening to the backlog of the campaign podcast, which is a Star Wars role playing game podcast and excellent. But or rather, I should say, it was a Star Wars podcast because that campaign is now over and they've started a new pirate themed one. And even though I haven't started in on the pirate themed one yet, they've been playing little hype building things for it. And I think those were talking like pirates. And so I was listening to one of those, uh, you know, earlier. And so I think that's what had it in my head. Yeah. So, um, yesterday, yeah, I felt still really kind of out of sorts most of the day still, but I'm getting better. I had a hard time getting to sleep last night, and so, tired again this morning, slept in a bit, but I'm getting back to normal. But boy, it just goes to show you that in some ways, when I think of like what I do in a weekend, it really does feel like, well, sitting in front of the computer all weekend doesn't really seem like it is substantially different than what I would usually do, but it just goes to show, like I was saying yesterday, that the amount of mental energy and sort of being on and doing things and constantly thinking and constantly speaking and that sort of the anticipation and I'll say stress, although like I said, it wasn't all bad or anything. But it just goes to show that that really does have a physical effect on your body. In any event, back to work, getting things done. I was seeing on Twitter that the new Peter Jackson movie, Mortal Engines, which I haven't had a chance to go see yet, apparently did really bad over the weekend, and they're thinking it's going to lose money. That seems kind of surprising to me. Although, to be sure, this time of year is a really kind of cluttered time to be opening it, but I suppose they thought that it was going to be one that would be big enough to carry the day. I'm not sure. I mean, I was planning to see it, but I did go to see the Spider-Man movie preferentially first instead, and I haven't, I've been kind of busy since the weekend. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. Spider-Man's real good, though, by the way. And I guess the reviews haven't for Mortal Engines haven't been great, but that usually wouldn't substantively impact the opening night weekend because that's usually sort of a judgment of how excited people are by it. And I would think that probably the average moviegoer is not waiting to see if the reviews are good before they go on opening weekend. I mean, a lot of people maybe do. I certainly pay attention to those things. And I don't know, this was one where I certainly read some of the reviews. They were saying it's kind of just not that original. It's kind of, despite its very cool sort of world building, that doesn't seem to be a lot of character heart in it. That seems, I guess, to be at least some of the consensus of the reviews that I read. But I don't know. I mean, I still think I'm going to go see it, but I was just sort of surprised. I feel like it's rare that you see a big miscalculation as far as those things go. I mean, because these movies cost a lot of money, so presumably there's a lot of people, who have kind of put time and effort into doing that. And in some regards, when something is a little bit weirder and is ultimately kind of punished for it, that's kind of a shame, really. Like, it's one thing if people see it and don't like it. But when something seems maybe just unusual enough and maybe that makes people not go to see it, that is going to send the wrong lesson to Hollywood. You know, when something's not a sequel, it's a brand new franchise and it's got some really unusual conceit to its sci-fi world, and people don't go to see it, Hollywood is going to learn the lesson. It's like, oh, people do want us to just keep making sequels and remakes. And honestly, I mean, on what grounds can you tell them that that's wrong? Anyway, I guess, sometimes they break out. But I don't know. I'm just musing on this because it surprised me to see that it apparently just tanked over the weekend. Anyway, I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.